Hello everyone, welcome back to Reading Corner. There's some really fun books for you today, as I have been telling you, because I've basically exhausted all of the books that were on my own bookshelf. I've been borrowing books from the library and borrowing books from friends, and I've got some lovely new books that are new for me as well as being new for you. So I really hope that you enjoy them today. First up, we have this really fun book called Duck in the Truck, which is about a duck that gets stuck in some muck. Then we've got Little Miss Helpful, who may or may not be as helpful as she hopes to be. And then we have a book about Schnitzel von Krumm, who's a friend of Harry McClary's, and some adventures that he gets up to. So let's start with Duck in the Truck. And here we go. This is Duck driving home in a truck. This is the track which is taking him back. This is the rock struck by the truck. And this is the muck where the truck becomes stuck. These are the feet which jump the duck down into the muck, all yucky and brown. This is the frog who spies from the bush and croaks, "I'll help you, give it a push." This is the push of a frog and a duck, and this is the truck, still stuck. This is a sheep driving home in a jeep. "Get out of the way," he yells with a beep. This is the quack of an angry duck. Quack! "I can't," he snaps. "My truck is stuck." This is the quiet as they think what to do. "Got it," croaks Frog. "Sheep can push too." This is the slurp and squelch and suck as the sheep steps slowly through the muck. This is the push of a sheep, a frog and a duck, and this is the truck, still stuck. This is the happy, sleepy goat relaxing on his motorboat. This is the ear that hears the shout, "My truck's in the muck and it won't come out." This is the rope, and here's the goat's plan: to tie a knot just as tight as they can. This is the push at the rear once again, and this is the pull as the boat takes the strain. These are the wheels, finally gripping, and this is the knot. Boing! Suddenly slipping. And this is the truck with the engine on fast. truck unstuck at last. This is the duck driving home in the truck, leaving the frog, the sheep and the goat stuck in the muck. Oh dear, the end. So the sheep, the frog and the goat helped the duck to get unstuck from the muck, but ended up stuck themselves. Not so nice. Let's now read about someone else who was as helpful as the sheep, the goat and the frog. Or was she? Let's see what happens in the story about Little Miss Helpful. Little Miss Helpful was one of those people who love to help other people, but who end up helping nobody. Do you know what I mean? For instance, like the time when one of Mr. Tall's shoelaces came undone. Now, if you're as tall as Mr. Tall, tying your shoelaces isn't the easiest thing in the world, as you can imagine. Let me help, cried Little Miss Helpful, rushing up. Then somehow she managed to tie Mr. Tall's shoelaces together and he fell over. And if you're as tall as Mr. Tall, falling over hurts. Bang! Ouch, he said, rubbing his forehead. Let me help, cried Little Miss Helpful, and rushed off to get some sticking plaster and rushed back and stuck it on Mr. Tall over his mouth. He said. He was trying to say, take it off, but that's rather difficult to do with sticking plaster stuck over your mouth. Little Miss Helpful looked at him with concern. Let me help, she cried, and ripped the sticking plaster off his mouth. Ouch, he cried, that hurt. Would you like me to get some cream for your sore mouth? She asked anxiously. No, he groaned. Go away. Now, do you know what I mean about people like Little Miss Helpful who help nobody? Last year, in April, I think it was, Mr. Happy woke up feeling not very well. The doctor had to be called and he came to Mr. Happy's house, which is on a hill by a lake. Oh dear, said the doctor when he saw Mr. Happy, measles. Mr. Happy's face fell. Now, you're all to stay tucked up nice and warm in bed and get lots of rest and take this medicine 3 times a day, said the doctor, and he went. Mr. Happy settled down to sleep. He had just fallen asleep when there was a loud knock at his front door. Oh dear, groaned Mr. Happy and staggered off to open it. You can guess who it was, can't you? I've come to help, she cried. But, protested Mr. Happy. But nothing, cried Little Miss Helpful. Now off to bed with you while I get on with everything. She looked around. This place needs a good clean, she said. Mr. Happy had just dropped off to sleep again when Miss Helpful poked her head around his bedroom door. Have you got a scrubbing brush? She asked. Poor Mr. Happy had to get up and show her where it was. And then he went back to bed to sleep. Little Miss Helpful stepped back to admire the kitchen floor she'd just scrubbed and trod on the soap and fell head over heels and got her head stuck in the bucket and, because she couldn't see where she was going, walked into a shelf full of saucepans, which fell all over the floor with a terrible clatter. And Because she couldn't see where she was going, little Miss Helpful stepped in one of the saucepans and got it stuck in her foot. And because she had the hop, she fell over against the refrigerator door, which flew open, and everything inside fell out all over little Miss Helpful. Poor Mr. Happy awoke with a jump at the terrible commotion. He groaned and got out of bed, went to the kitchen and opened the door. He couldn't believe his eyes. There, in the middle of a pile of broken eggs and a scrubbing brush and rolling saucepans and a lot of water and spilt milk and squashed butter and bent saucepan lids and a piece of soap, sat little Miss Helpful with a bucket on her head and a saucepan on her foot. "Help," came a voice from inside the bucket. Mr. Happy seized the bucket and pulled as hard as he ever could. Pulled and pulled. Pop! The bucket came off the top of little Miss Helpful's head like a cork out of a bottle, and Mr. Happy shot backwards like a bullet from a gun. Crash! He went flying through the kitchen door. He shot across the garden and straight through his garden hedge. He rolled down the hilly field behind his garden, faster and faster, and splash! He finished up in the lake with the bucket in his hand, and a little figure with a saucepan on one foot came half running, half hopping out of Mr. Happy's house. "Let me help," she cried. Oh dear. Poor little Miss Helpful. She really did want to help. She just wasn't very good at it. Now we've got a story about another little person, well, a little dog called Schnitzel von Krumm, who wants to be involved in his family's lives, but very much like little Miss Helpful, it doesn't always work out the way he wants. And then, well, you'll see what happens. Schnitzel von Krumm, forget me not. With pattering paws and a lolloping tum, down the front steps galloped Schnitzel von Krumm. Out on the drive by the barbecue bar, the family loaded the trailer and car. In went the tent and the old red canoe, paddles and blankets and sleeping bags too. Such a scurrying bustle, a holiday hum. It was all of a puzzle to Schnitzel von Krumm. He meddled and snooped from the gate to the shed, and he got under feet until everyone said, "We're all in a hurry. We must get away. So Schnitzel von Krumm, please keep out of the way." He scruffed into boxes. He climbed into bed and drove them all mad until everyone said, "We're all in a hurry. We must get away. So Schnitzel von Krumm, please keep out of the way." At last, they were ready. Packing was done. They gathered the children and counted each one. They checked up on Grandma, the food, and the tent. They fastened their seat belts, and off they all went. Poor Schnitzel von Krumm, he whimpered and yowled. He sat by the gate, and he howled, and he howled. Oh, 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 oh. His woe-begone misery bothered Miss Plum. "No," she said, "surely that's Schnitzel von Krumm." Far out of town, at the side of the road, the family stopped and inspected the load. They started to worry. "We can't carry on. Something is horribly, terribly wrong." We packed all the children, the tent and canoe. paddles and blankets and sleeping bags too. We tied down the surfboards and Grandma has come, but something is missing. Where's Schnitzel von Krumm? Oh, doom and disaster. What absence of mind. We just didn't notice. We've left him behind. Poor little Schnitzel, alas and alack. We simply can't help it. We'll have to go back. But chasing behind like a hurricane gust came a skidding of tires and a billow of dust. Catching them up was speedy Miss Plum. And who was her passenger? Schnitzel von Krumm. What a commotion. He gamboled around in a frolicking frenzy, a rollicking bound. He capered in circles till breathless at last. He sank in a heap at the edge of the grass. Come, said the family, let's get away. That's quite enough drama and fuss for today. They fastened their seatbelts and waved to Miss Plum as they sat off together with Schnitzel von Krumm. So in the end, they all got to have their adventures, the family and Schnitzel von Krumm. And I hope that they have a lovely holiday. I hope that you're having a good day too, wherever you are. I hope that you're being able to, I don't know, read some other books or play outside if it's sunny, or imagine some fun things if it's inside. Whatever you're doing, you have fun doing it. And I look forward to seeing you again next time at Reading Corner. Bye for now.